So let's discuss the dangers of trying to downplay January 6th. And it's happening from the very tippy top of government. Before we get to that, I just want to show you what January 6th actually looked like from any perspective that you want to look at it. But for some reason, some people want to portray it as a walk in the park. This is the real January 6th.
On January 6th, rioters caused around $3 million worth of damage to the U.S. Capitol.
This is our house! Wait, I said!
These videos all came from exhibits presented by prosecutors in court. At NPR, we reviewed thousands of these videos, and they show how people didn't just smash windows and doors to storm the building. They also used the riot to steal stuff.
Yo, take laptops, paperwork, take everything. Hey, help yourselves, guys. It's on the house. It's on the house.
And party.
Three smoke in the Capitol, boys.
One rioter told me it was like a bunch of frat bros stormed the Capitol. People smoked and got drunk and high.
Oh, we're smoking weed in the fucking... Yeah! Time to smoke weed in here.
The damage was not just inside the building. Outside, rioters destroyed cameras from the media.
Fucking traitors! Get the fuck out of here! Get the fuck out of here!
Convicted rioters were supposed to pay restitution to help with the cost of fixing the Capitol. But when President Trump issued mass pardons for the defendants, they no longer had to pay.
Okay, so there you go. I want you to keep that. They were like, I'm smoking weed, and they said it was like more like a frat bro thing, and keep that $3 million number in mind, because we're going to get back to that. But in the meantime, this is on the White House website yesterday, basically downplaying, or on January 6th, I should say, basically downplaying January 6th, blaming it on Nancy Pelosi and the Democrats, and trying to rewrite the history. Thousands of Americans paid the price for political failure they did not create. Basically saying that the January 6th rioters and criminals were not responsible for what they did that day, which was defecate on the Capitol, spread the feces on the wall and on the floor and on property like desks, etc., urinate in the Capitol, break windows, steal things from the Capitol, and basically cause $3 million and up damage, not to mention attacking police officers and the lies about what it was. That is the danger here, because they are trying to rewrite what actually happened, including Congress people. This is one congressman who put this up. Congressman Mike Collins also posted this, downplaying it. On this day in history in 2021, thousands of peaceful grandmothers and others gathered in Washington, D.C. to take a self-guided, albeit unauthorized tour of the U.S. Capitol building. Earlier that day, President Trump held a rally where supporters walked to the Capitol to exercise their First Amendment right about the irregularities of the 2020 election. During this time, some individuals entered the Capitol, took photos, and explored the building before leaving. Afterwards, hundreds of peaceful protesters were hunted down. The protesters, he said, the rioters, they were hunted down, arrested, held in solitary confinement, treated unjustly, and crucified in the media. Countless hours and taxpayer dollars were spent pursuing grandmothers and raiding President Trump's home, while terrorists and millions of illegal immigrants crossed our nation's borders, causing havoc in our communities. Fortunately, this version of the DOJ exists only in history. Here's the thing. These people were hunted down. They should not have been prosecuted. Now, they would not say that about, I believe, the people who are being rounded up off the streets without due process, or for Black people who commit crimes, or for Latino people who commit crimes, or anybody who commits crime other than white people. But if white people commit crimes, then according to this lawmaker, they should not be prosecuted. But if you listen to how MAGA and others talk about, especially people of color, about Antifa and on, which is just, Antifa is an idea. It's not really a group that has a central system where they report to each other, a central governing system. They don't have that. The people who were on January 6th, I know that, the lie has been out there that there were no weapons, there's no guns, there's no any of that. That is all bullshit. The evidence shows that there were. Here's some NPR reporting for you.
You are enemies of the United States of America!
What patriots do? We fucking disarm them, and then we storm the fucking Capitol.
The January 6th attack on the U.S. Capitol was 5 years ago, and there are still some myths about the riot that will not go away. Like the idea that the rioters were unarmed.
Got the carbon fiber knuckles, matching hatchets, and a little bit of excitement.
At NPR, we've obtained and reviewed thousands of videos from the January 6th court cases. Those videos show how many people brought weapons, plus body armor and gas masks.
We need weapons. We need strong, angry patriots to help our boys.
They used those weapons to assault police and break through police lines.
Cruiser 50, 8600, 2 more Harlem platoons, ASAP. We have multiple MPD injuries, multiple capital injuries.
The weapons included things like clubs, poles, a hockey stick, a pair of metal crutches, fire extinguishers. At one point, rioters even used some kind of incendiary device, like a firecracker. Police found knives. Ashley Babbitt, the rioter who was shot and killed by police trying to breach a barricaded door, also had a knife. Some people even brought stun guns. One rioter used a stun gun on Officer Michael Fanone's neck while he was surrounded by the mob. Fanone was knocked unconscious, and doctors would later determine that he had a heart attack. Some rioters took weapons from police, like these batons and this police shield.
You just stole a riot shield? Yeah. Wow.
That shield was used during the first breach of the Capitol building. Some of the most effective weapons used by rioters were chemical sprays, like pepper spray and bear spray. Cops were blinded and forced to retreat. Capitol Police Officer Brian Sicknick was hit by a chemical spray. He collapsed that night and died the next day. His official cause of death was 2 strokes. His family blames the riot.
There you go. And according to the reports, and even speaking to Michael Fanone, there were guns that were hidden around the Capitol. Again, check the reporting on that. But if you listen to the MAGA folks in the Trump administration, Donald Trump himself, and the MAGA people, this was a walk in the park. Political violence is only on the left. It's only Antifa, again, which is an idea of people who are against fascism. There was a rally held on the 5th anniversary of January 6th by people who were prosecuted, and then they were pardoned. And yet they want more. Rather than having to pay the $3 million that they helped cause, the damage that they helped cause to the Capitol, they want their money back for being prosecuted and for their time. They want reparations. For the crowd who doesn't like reparations, when it comes to African Americans, they want reparations themselves. Here is one woman who was there for January 6th, and at least according to her, she was prosecuted. Here it is.
It was the best day ever, most patriotic day ever. We were singing, we were praying, we were hugging each other, we were crying, while the D.C. police were shooting tear gas and rubber bullets at us on the west side. I mean, I'm 65. I wasn't going to get in any trouble. I just walked up under this huge American flag, and when we rolled the flag back on the west side, they started shooting at us. And I expected Antifa and BLM, but not the Capitol Police.
I expected Antifa or BLM. She bought into the bullshit of Donald Trump and MAGA, that this was Antifa and BLM. It was not. It was January 6th rioters. These were mainly white people. There were others. There were some people of color, but mainly white people who were angry because Donald Trump told them that the election had been stolen. This was not a walk in the park, nor was it a guided tour, nor did the Capitol Police start it. The Capitol Police were defending themselves when the Capitol was being breached. and when they were attacked. This march that happened on January 6th is unbelievable. Again, these people marched and they want restitution, even though they were the ones who were responsible for their own actions. And they said that it was set up by Nancy Pelosi. None of that is true as well. Nancy Pelosi had a few words for Donald Trump and these rioters.
What was sad is that this president refused to send the National Guard. He keeps saying, oh, I wanted it, but they didn't, with the mayor and Nancy, they didn't want it. His own Secretary of Defense testified under oath that that was not true. But he is not under oath, so he just lies. So but what's important is our democracy. What happened then was horrible, was horrible. Confederate flags under Lincoln's dome, the dome that Lincoln built while he was unifying, holding the unity of our country together, our union together. And this president, for some reason, decided that he was going to incite an insurrection, lie about it, because he couldn't face the fact that he was not elected president of the United States. It's his megalomania that just goes into everything he does, including some of his actions abroad.
So let's just get to the bottom of this. This is the problem with America. America's original sin, which was coming, and the first original sin was coming and stealing the land and the country from the natives. And then and also a horrific original sin, I believe, slavery. Not I believe, I know it was slavery and racism in this country. Donald Trump has not gotten people to believe. He has capitalized on the belief that this country was founded and started for white people. And that white people cannot be criminals or should not be held responsible, even when they commit crimes, even when they disobey their own constitution, our own constitution. It is somebody else's fault, even when they're at wrong. It is the biggest Karenism there. You saw what that woman said. And all of these people, the biggest Karens, we were peaceful. No, you weren't. It was BLM. It was Antifa. No, it wasn't. They cannot bring themselves to the reality that it is their own fault and is their racism that is blinding them. They can't be terrorists. They can't be criminals. The Ku Klux Klan can't be racist, terrorist criminals. The January 6th rioters cannot be racist, criminals, terrorists. But Antifa can, BLM can. Nikki Free, why don't you take it from here?
Y'all ever wonder why the Ku Klux Klan has never been designated a terrorist organization by the U.S. government? Anybody? Well, it's because in far too many cases, the Ku Klux Klan membership is the same people writing the laws, carrying the badges, and wearing the court robes. That's the truth America keeps dodging. Fast forward to late 2025, and Donald Trump signs an order branding Antifa a domestic terrorist organization to crack down on the radical left. Antifa, a loosely connected idea, not a group, no leader, no membership, no headquarters. But somehow that becomes the threat worth labeling like ISIS. Meanwhile, the Ku Klux Klan, the oldest, deadliest domestic terror network on American soil, has never been classified a terrorist organization. Could it be because of who they terrorize? A group that lynched black children, bombed black churches, burned whole black families alive, but they're not terrorists? Please. America has never created a legal pathway to designate domestic terror organizations. And that's not an accident. That's protection. That's design. That's whiteness shielding itself. Because calling the KKK what it is, a white domestic terror network, would force this country to admit who the terrorists were and are. The same people writing laws, carrying badges, and wielding power. And here's where Trump comes in. This man has zero smoke for the Proud Boys, told them to stand back and stand by. Zero smoke for militias storming state capitals. Zero smoke for neo-Nazis in Charlottesville, called them very fine people. And he's pardoning the January 6th hoodlums, thugs, and white supremacists. Yet he wants to call Antifa, shorthand for anybody who won't let them be racist and fascist in peace, a terrorist organization. So let's be clear here. Opposing their racism becomes terrorism, but practicing white supremacy does not. That is the American formula. White violence gets excuses. Black resistance gets surveillance. Fascists get a pass. Anti-racists get a target. And that's not law and order, y'all. That's 400 years of racist double standards wearing a presidential signature.
So let's just be honest about what January 6th was. January 6th was about violence. It was about white supremacy. It was about a denial of the sins of this country. So much as you have insurrection deniers, election deniers, you've got white supremacy and racism and slavery deniers. So that's if you want to fix this country, white people, you have to stop denying your own reality. You have to stop pretending that you cannot be a part of the system that you created, meaning that you cannot be a criminal or a terrorist. It is only those other people. That is the whole reason that Donald Trump is in power right now, because he gets you to believe that. And then you get in trouble. If it were not for him, you would be in jail, many of you still, which is where you should be. And you should not be seeking restitution. So I will say this to you. If you believe in reparations for yourself, if you want the American people to pay for what you believe happened to you, even though you created it yourself, if you believe in those reparations, then start believing in reparations for Black people as well. Thanks so much for watching, everybody. Your support means the world to us. Don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe so you never miss a show. We're live every weekday at 10 a.m. and 5 p.m. Eastern Time with new clips dropping at 2 p. and 8 p. And if you want even more Don Lemon Show content, join the Lemon community. Members get exclusive posts, behind-the-scenes videos, and live chats just for you. So hit the join button or visit our channel page to sign up. Thanks again for all your love and your support, and I'll see you next time.